Yo, 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 what's up with it? You know, Raw Crown Spotlight back in the building. Introduce yourself, man. Tell the people who you are.
I'm Fat Trak, music producer. Um, man, beat maker, music producer, recording engineer. Um, FAT space TRAK. Real name's David.
Hey, we don't get that too often on the interview. Now open up the real name. All right, cool, cool, cool. So, man, tell the people where you from.
I'm from Whitefield, Colorado. Born and raised. Um, it's about an hour and a half away from Denver, Colorado. Um, yeah, Whitefield is the place. We call it the field where I'm from, but yeah.
So, what is like growing up out
Oh man, growing up out there, when I grew up out there, it was really dope. They had, it wasn't as busy as it is now, but right now, when I grew up, they had an open field. My friends and my twin brother, we used to go out in the field and dig a ditch and build forts around it. You know, they had a creek that we jump over. To try and jump over the creek and
Y'all was on bikes or y'all was just jumping?
bikes, walking. Watching out for snakes in the field. Like climbing across the barbed wire. Unfortunately now the field is more. They build a lot of houses in the area, like everywhere, like they're building everywhere, but it's more of a military town, so it's one of the most diverse areas. You have people from all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities, so from the military coming in,
Right.
we live near Fort Carson military base, so it was pretty cool, really diverse. It's very I don't know, now it's just really busy, really busy right now.
So, how did you get into producing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Producing. So, I'll tell you the backstory. I remember when I was younger, I used to have a Fisher Price tape player with a little microphone, and you can go and push record, and you can record, anything you wanted into it. I would stand next to MTV and record, put the microphone to the TV and record my own tapes like TLC, Crisscross, Jump Jump,
Right.
MC Hammer, and then I'd just be walking around my boombox like, with my own tape, reverse it, I would fill up tapes like that. Then in about 7th grade, I remember my twin brother and a couple of our best friends, Mike and Craig and Eric, we all sat down at Mike's house, and he was like, hey man, my mom and my dad, they're gonna get me a turntable set because I want to DJ for parties. Remember when they used to really DJ with vinyl at parties, right? You couldn't bump the table. Like, hey man, quit bumping the table, quit bumping the table.
That was DJing was high.
They bring in the crates like so you want to get a DJ, and they said, well, what about you, Dave? I said, I've always been intrigued by the beat behind the music. What does Dr. Dre do? Oh, he's a producer. So I was like, let me see the magazine. I started flipping through it. Boom, boom, boom. I want that beat machine. Went home, told my mom about it. Never got it.
What beat machine was that?
It was a Yamaha RM1X. It was like $700 or $800 at the time. And my mom was like, are you crazy? You're only in 7th grade. And I was like, but this is all I want to do. You don't have to give me nothing for my birthday, Easter, nothing. And yeah. So fast forward. I still kept that drive alive. I used to go home. I subscribed to like Sam Ash. You can subscribe to the magazine.
Right.
Like East Bay for tennis shoes.
Yeah.
So he used to send me it. Every time I get home from school, I get on the phone and be like, hey, how you doing? My name is David, and I want to be a music producer, but I have my notepad. Can you tell me what MIDI means? You know what I mean? So they're like, oh, it's musical instrument. And then
before everybody had Google.
Before they had Google, I was writing it down. Like, what does MIDI mean? So by the time I went to school and learned about it, I said, man, I already knew about this back in 7th grade.
Right.
So yeah, when I was 18, I ended up getting my first beat machine. Working 2 jobs. I worked at Walgreens, and I worked at Underground Station, selling shoes. Stacked up a lot of bread, bought a beat machine, and yeah.
The history from there, huh?
Yeah. Oh man, I could tell you more stories, but we could go on. Like I got the ups and ebbs and flows on it, like in the production side. But from 2002 till um, 2004 I was really learning. 2006, 7 is when I really dove deep into it, and I never looked back.
Okay. So, what would you say would be your best memory, for as like producing?
Best memory.
Best experience.
Best experience? Oh man, there's so many of them. So many of them. I would tell you one experience though that really changed my life. My wife, right? She was my girlfriend at the time, but she I told her I wanted to go to Seattle. I was working on an instrumental album, and I wanted to go to Seattle and book some studio time at a studio called Purple Door Studios. Jake One, he's like a real, he's a great producer, man. So great. Like his white van music. If you haven't checked it out, you should check it out. He worked with so many artists in the industry, from T.I. to Dr. Dre, Rick Ross, De La Soul, you name it. Like he's across everywhere. And
right.
When she actually paid for the studio session for my birthday, so it was a 2-day studio session, right? We booked it, and the engineer Seth, shout out to Seth, the engineer from the All Star Opera. He was like, "Hey man, welcome to Seattle." We had sushi before we went to the studio, and man, they just treated me really well out there. I got a chance to dig through their record collection, go dig for samples.
Yeah.
And then I got a chance to see the private record collection. So if I touch those, I got to put it right back. And I was like, man, that's cool too. I respect it. And I ended up
in the candy store.
Yeah. Oh man, I ended up making a beat out there. It's on YouTube, by the way. I made several beats out there. That night, I ended up meeting one of the band members from the All Star Opera, Seth's band member, because he was the engineer, but he's also a part of this band out there.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey man, can my bass player come through?" I even met their lead vocalist. He brought through some trees. Am I able to say that on the camera?
Hey, you.
Are we editing that? Okay.
You grow.
Yeah. Okay. He brought through some trees. I don't smoke anymore though. But
we all in Denver now.
Yeah. But yeah. I met Oz, shout out to Oz, and I made this beat. Seth was like, "Oh, bro, brought his bass guitar. I made this beat, and he's jamming with the bass." Mind you, my session was supposed to be like 9 to midnight. He said, "Bro, don't even worry about it." We stayed until like 4 a.m. right, jamming out.
Celebrity treatment.
Man, that was crazy to me. And then went back to the hotel, made a beat. Before I went to the hotel, Seth was like, "Hey, bro, I hope you're ready for tomorrow." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? Like, I'm just going to keep making beats." He said, "Well, tomorrow, Jake One, Vitamin D, and Justo from the Physics. These are all like Seattle legendary producers. They're coming to your session." And I was like, no junk.
You nervous?
Like, oh man. He was like, "You better bring the heat." And I was like, okay. So the next day, I went to the record store that Jake One went to on this rhythm roulette. It was called Spin Cycle, and my wife at the time, she's all filming me, like taking pictures, and little did I know that the owner was watching. And he said, "Hey, what's your name?" I said, "Well, I'm David. I go by Fat Trak." And he said, "Well, what brings you here?" And I said, "Well, I watched the episode of Rhythm Roulette where Jake One, he came here. So I just took an Uber here, and I figured I'd come here and see what's up." So I'm all digging through records, right? My wife's digging through records, and then ended up he ended up having records at the register. So I come to the register. He's like, "Here, welcome to Seattle." He gave me a stack of records, and man, like I went back to the studio that night. Couple hours, I'm working on the beat, trying to warm up, right? Because I made a couple the night before, but I know who's coming to the session this time, right?
Just gotta be that beat,
and I ended up just showing. I met Jake One, I met Justo, I met Vitamin D. I've known Jake One for maybe a few years back because he used to do a beat battle called Red Bull Big Tune. It was ran by Red Bull. They travel all across the United States, and I'd always get picked when he came to Denver. So that's how I met Jake One, was through there, and through a producer conference called the One Stop Shop. And man, he just always been cool, always just genuinely. They're all cool, just regular genuine people. And when they showed up, man, I got a chance to show them my instrumental album that I was working on,
Right.
and showed them the beats I was doing, showed them the new stuff, and get their approval, or saying, okay, this one might work.
Trash there.
Yeah, right, yeah, that's garbage. No, it was actually really cool to get that, from, I guess, Seattle legends,
Right.
legends in the underground hip hop, legends in hip hop, and man, after that, after I showed them the album and I had a clear idea of what I wanted to get on it, I was like, you know what? Oh snap! Like, I'm still paying for studio time. My wife paid for studio time.
Right.
Let me go ahead and, it was cool brushing the shoulders. They all went to the back of the other room, and they're all, catching up because they're all friends,
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? Shit, Dave.
You gotta work.
You know what? Work, right? Man, so Keith, he was like, hey, Dave, on the way through, come through. Man, ended up boom, 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 making a beat. And then I made this beat. It's on my instrumental album called The Purple Door Experience. And I remember hearing in the video clip when I was editing it, somebody said, man, who can hear that? Oh, Busta? Like Busta Rhymes. And I was like, oh shit, that shit makes hella sense. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Then, it was a long night. By like midnight, 1 a.m., they all split out. And then Seth again, hey bro, me and Keith heard another joint you was working on. We have a riff for it. I have this riff on the organ. I have this riff on the bass. Would you mind staying and finishing it? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, made that joint. Came home, showed my twin brother. My twin brother laced a acoustic guitar to it, and that was like one of the most memorable experiences for me for music. Outside of that would be the release of my first album with Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Hayes was his real name, but my first album, he actually took me from beat maker to producer.
Gotcha.
So
that's definitely different. So, how would you describe your creative process?
Oh, that's a great question. Creative process. So, now I'm a lot heavier into sampling. I'm a lot, vinyl records.
Gotcha.
I love going to get my fingers dusty. I love going to new states and seeing record stores. From Rasputin in the Bay Area. What's cool about them, just a little side note, is bring your portable turntables when you travel, right? Like bring something like this when you travel, portable. Go to the record store like Rasputin, and what's cool about them is like there's a 3-day return policy. So you bring the record home, you listen to it. If there's no sample, then go back and then trade it in for store credit and get some more. You know what I'm saying? Like,
teach them on the ropes.
That's what I used to do. I used to go, go to record stores, and my process is like, I'll go dig for samples, find a sample. If I'm at home in my studio, I'll pull out like a stack like this big, maybe 20, 30 records, and whether I'm cooking, because I like to cook, you know what I mean? Like I like to cook. If I'm cooking, or if I'm just drinking beer in my studio, just lounging on the couch in my studio, I'm listening to the record from beginning to end. I want to study the record. I want to see if there's anything that I might miss, you know what I mean? And if I find a sample, I'll head to the beat machine, record it in, but I'll have like sample sessions where I just have a folder full of October samples, all these songs that I sample, and then I'll take the records that don't have samples, put them aside to go trade in. The records that do have samples, these is what I'm making beats off of next, That'll be one process. Then the actual creation process, I already have them already laid out. It's just a matter of loading up the drums, finding the good sounds, chopping. I always chop first because that's the most tedious process for me. I'm on the old school beat machine, so, I still use the jot wheel, chop the start and end points. Once I get everything chopped up, laid to pads, lay the drums, then start sequencing from there.
All right. Last but not least, we're in the great state of Colorado, and you say you don't smoke anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a struggle?
You know,
Being that out here, y'all, it's like y'all can literally go in the store
yeah.
and shop.
What's crazy is I never really grew up smoking weed. Even when I was in college, I never really had weed. Like, I was always a beer person. Grew up drinking beer.
Gotcha.
At 18, like, shout out to my mom. She bought me and my twin brother in our dorm room a beer fridge and filled it up with 30 beers. You know what I'm saying? And shed some tears, cried, and said goodbye. And the first day of college, my brother had to crack the beer. Like, it was Pabst Blue Ribbon, but I'm a Corona drinker. You know what I mean?
Now y'all got the coronavirus.
Yeah, right? That's how I had to switch to Modelo, like my boy Ray G said. Weed's cool. The only time that I really smoked weed, I actually grew it. It was about 4 years ago. I broke my foot, and they gave me oxycodone.
You was like, nah.
Oh man, for 1 week of oxycodone, man, you couldn't use the restroom. Like, it numbed you up. I'm like, bro, like, this is not good. I asked my doctor. I said, look, is there something different I could take? They said, well, there's marijuana. Well, can you sign me up for the card? Boom. That's when I did it. Heavy. Take away the pain, but ever since that my foot got healed, I'm good. Like, I mean, I can smell it. It smells good. Like, it smells good in the jar. It smells good. It smells good. Pass it back. Like, but like I'd rather just stick with Corona.
Gotcha. All right. Well, before we go, you want to tell them about any upcoming projects you have, or how they can find you on your social media, or anything? Any shout outs?
Yeah, social media, FAT_TRAK. That's Instagram. Twitter, I'm not really hip on. Fat Trak, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Beats Music, Tidal, all that stuff. New project. I got 5 albums out right now to date. The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius that I produce. I have Fat Tracks from the MPC. It's an instrumental album that Jake One helped, when I went to Seattle.
Right.
There's The Way to Heaven. It's an instrumental album. Kingsman, The Secret Files of Boondock and Fat Trak. That's like an instrumental album that my mentor and I, from 06 to 09, when we used to live together in an apartment, those are the beats that we made at that time, as well as when we were doing the YouTube videos. And there's a new album out called Acuna Black presents Crates of Vintage Dreams. I did all but 3 joints in there. One was with my twin brother, Daniel Bradley's band. He played organ and guitar. One with my boy Tyla, and then one that this producer, female producer, her name is Rain, Rayn, really dope. She made the last track on the album. Thank you for holding that. Those are the 5 albums I have out right now to date. There's a new one coming out. It's called Fat Tracks from the MPC 2, the number 2. I'm pulling together all of the local artists from Denver, some from Seattle, that are gonna be a part of it. It'll be about 18 to 19 tracks on there, and then yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Let's go. And then the last but not least, there's an artist named Buttaz, Buttaz. He's from the Springs, from Whitefield. That project's done. We're just waiting on promotion and mastering. So those would be the 2 to look out for coming about.
Gotcha. Well.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about.
This when I first started learning like music theory. I was like, hey man, like I was boom right there, but I was playing like these strings and yeah, man. Like,
I'm gonna send you the one beat I made myself. I'm gonna send it to you.
Okay.
Check it out. Yeah.